Hey guys, this is Communications, and welcome to my rant on the cabin in the woods. More like my dick in the woods. More like the movie was like a fucking slut. A hooker that I pay for her services, and she's giving me a hand job, and it's feeling good, and then she fucking breaks my dick off and throws it in the fucking woods. That's more likely what it fucking is. My dick in the woods. Because that's exactly how I felt after this fucking movie. Like my dick had been fucking sucked off and then broken off and fucking discarded in the fucking woods. Anyway, you're probably wondering like why I'm using such intense imagery. Well, this film gets so much praise of the ass lately. It's got a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb. It's not like I really give a shit about the ratings on IMDb. Like, in all honesty, I only bring up the ratings on IMDb because that's a good reference to use for what the public seems to think about this movie. And also, if you're not a fan of some movie and you're a fan of some other movies that get rated lower than this movie, like The Monster Squad, I'm pretty sure you would probably want to defend your other films and say, hey, Cabin in the Woods sucks compared to The Monster Squad or Waxwork. But anyway, I digress, and we'll get into basically let's get this show on the road. That's basically what I said, when I decided to watch the film last night, and my good friend Matt Rambo Fan for Life was kind enough to join me, and you know how much he hates this movie, so that's pretty cool. So basically, he was a great. He was he's a great friend, but he was also a good companion to watch a movie with. He's a good movie-going companion because he'd seen the movie multiple times, but he didn't really give anything away. He just basically let me experience the film firsthand for myself, and I got to thank him for that. It was a great. He was definitely a great movie-going companion. Definitely a good person to watch a movie with. And he's a good person, Anyway, so, yeah. So, basically the movie was released in 2012, but it was actually made in 2009. It was one of those movies that MGM had finished, and they went bankrupt, and then they couldn't release it. So, yep, it's directed by Drew Goddard, who's one of the writers, I guess, who helped around with Serenity or some shit. I don't really remember exactly what Drew Goddard. Well, we'll just look at it here. Let's go look at this on IMDb. What Drew Goddard what a freaking tool! Look at his IMDb page with this long freaking string here. All right. Anyway, Drew Goddard. He helped write. He wrote Cloverfield. Okay. This was his one directorial debut. Other than that, he wrote a few episodes of Angel, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Alias, and Lost. Oh, great, he's one of the few writers in Lost. Wonderful. Anyway, for a directorial debut, it's not the worst ever, but it sure as hell is not the great classic like a lot of people are trying to say this film is. I'm sorry, I don't see how this is a classic horror film, or how this is a genre bender, or how this breaks the horror mold and takes it in a new direction. I really don't see that. First, it's also written by Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard. Well, Joss Whedon, of course, is a guy who helped basically create Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Serenity, and the movie Serenity, and Firefly, that TV series that Serenity is based off of. And he directed The Avengers. Well, I like The Avengers, Joss, but I'm not gonna really praise this. This writing, this is one of the big part of the film that frustrates me the most. This has got to be one of the most frustratingly disappointing movies I've seen in a long time. It's got really good ideas, but the payoff sucks. That's all I gotta say. I'll get into that sooner. I'll get into that later. First off, I'm going to talk about the cast and what I thought about them. Kristen Connolly, she plays Dana Polk. I think she's the main character. I didn't mind her. She reminded me a bit of Uma Thurman. She was alright. Chris Hemsworth is Kurt. Hemsworth wasn't a problem. until, well, until he dies, which is, I'll get into that bullshit. Anna Hutchinson plays Jules Loudon, who's basically this girl who, she basically becomes the ditzy blonde of the film. Fran Khanz plays Marty Mikowski. I like Fran Khanz. He reminded me of like a little bit of Tobey Maguire. But I did like this guy. I thought he was I really enjoyed him. Reminded me also a little bit of Jake Gyllenhaal. And I guess he was also in Donnie Darko, which is kind of weird. I had fun with this guy, the stoner guy. He was my favorite character in the film. Although I don't buy, how he ends up living in the end. I don't really buy that. It just seems like lazy writing to me. But anyway, he didn't really do that much. This is really one of his first big roles, and I thought he did a pretty good job with it. I liked Fran Khanz. So anyway, Fran Khanz is probably the best, probably the best actor of the bunch. Maybe next to Chris Hemsworth. Chris Connolly was alright though. And then you have Jesse Williams who plays Holden McCree, who's actually a really nice guy, and he wasn't the comic relief black guy, so that was different. You have Richard Jenkins as Richard Sitterson, who's basically one of the fucking puppeteer guys who's running this underground organization that's like basically controlling this cabin in the woods scenario. And then you have Bradley Whitford, who plays Steve Hadley. And Bradley Whitford, he's basically the guy who was in Billy Madison. He was the bad guy in Billy Madison. He was also in RoboCop 3. Of course, I just remember the most for Billy Madison. And of course for RoboCop 3. In RoboCop 3, he plays that asshole guy who... Yeah, he plays Fleck. So he's Fleck in RoboCop 3. And he was also in Billy Madison as Eric Gordon. The guy who wants to take Billy Madison's dad's company. So anyway, yeah. I don't really think he did too much extra. He really didn't add much to the film, in my opinion anyway. Anyway, here's the basic gist of the plot for Cabin in the Woods. 5 teenagers head off for a weekend at a secluded cabin in the woods. They arrive to find that they're quite isolated with no means of communicating with the outside world. When the cellar door flings itself open, they of course go down to investigate, which is stupid. They find an odd assortment of relics and curios, but when one of the women, Dana, reads from a book, she awakens a family of deadly zombie killers. There's far more going on, however, than meets the eye, as 5 campers are all under observation by the puppeteers. Basically, the tagline for the film is stupid. If something is chasing you, split up. I don't find it funny. I find it just a stupid tagline. Anyway, and that's the gist of the movie. I don't find anything that this movie finds funny. I just think it's stupid. So anyway, the movie starts off alright. This is one of those movies, folks. The reason why I'm so frustrated at it, and the reason why it's a rant, is because it starts off good. It gets my interest. You have these interesting cast of characters. I have no problem with the cast. I don't have a problem with the cast. Even the puppeteer guys, I don't have a problem with the cast. It's just the dialogue with the puppeteer guys, it wasn't really that funny to me. And the characters, the cast of characters, well, they aren't given that much to do. So basically, you have the beginning of the film, and it opens like any other typical slasher film, except for the opening. I mean, literally, the opening is just randomly fucking, all of a sudden, we're in some complex, and some guy's talking about birth control or some shit, hormones, and then they say some fucking line or the 2 scientist dudes. So basically, you have Bradley Whitford and Richard Jenkins are talking to each other around the water cooler, or driving around in the little, cart that you drive around in a fucking office building, I guess. They say something to each other, which is a stupid joke, and then BAM! Opening titles in the middle of fucking nowhere, and it's gotta be the most random fucking opening titles I've ever seen in my life. It's like, blah 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 blah, cabin in the woods. You're like, what the, huh? The film opens up with no introduction to where the fuck these people are. Where is this complex? What is this complex? And who the hell are these two people talking? We don't know who the fuck any of these people are from the beginning, which is really honestly offsetting. It's off-putting to me. Now, but after that, you get introduced to the teenager crowd, and you get introduced to a little bit of backstory with them right off the bat. But with these scientist guys, we don't know what the fuck they're doing from the beginning, and the reason why is, I guess, to try to keep it a secret from the audience, and I understand, but it still doesn't change the fact that the opening is as random as hell and some of the weirdest editing I've seen in a long time in terms of an opening credit sequence. But anyway, after you get that, you get kind of fun little banter and fun stuff between the teen cast. You have the stoner guy Marty. He's got a bong that he can turn into a like a coffee cup, and I thought that was pretty original. It's different. I question the main girl's I questioned a bit of her personality, Dana Polk, because they basically are saying that she was used to bang her college instructor. So I'm like, oh, do we got a little nymphomaniac going on right here? Closet nympho? But anyway, nothing really bothered me. In the opening of the film, it got me interested. I like these characters. The beginning, even though it was as random as fucking hell with the opening credits, I was like, okay, I understand why it's like that, because they're trying to keep it a secret. Okay. So then basically, they get in the motorhome, and drive to this cabin in the woods. But of course, then you have I have a little nitpick with this little scene. While they're driving to the cabin in the woods, you see an overhand, hand shot from above, and you see a obvious CGI hawk, and it basically flies and collides into a fucking force field. Now, I think that was in the trailer. But I think the only reason why that scene is in the film is for the stupid people in the audience to understand what happens to Chris Hemsworth near the end of the film, to why that's there. That's the only fucking thing I can think of, or to why they can't leave after they enter the cabin in the woods. Which is stupid. It's shitty writing, and it's just needless. That scene, that 5-second scene, 10 seconds of a CGI bird flying into a CGI force field, is useless. In my opinion, filmmaking 101, especially horror films, the best way for a horror film to play out is that you experience everything that's going on in the film the same time as the characters are, which then makes you feel like you are inside the film and makes you feel like you're a part of the movie, which I find is a lot more of an entertaining, a lot more of a satisfying experience, rather than being just kind of stupid like there's a force field. You see the bird flying in the force field. There's something weird going on. I never really cared for that type. I thought it was more. It adds a suspense. It's more shocking when that kind of thing shows. When you find out that there's a force field later in the film. It's more shocking because it's more shocking if you didn't have that fucking scene, because then you wouldn't even had any idea that there is a force field. There's something about suspense. There's something about building suspense, and by showing that scene, you completely ruin the fucking suspense on anything about dealing with a force field around this cabin in the woods. Well, that's a little nitpick. Didn't really it little kind of aggravated me a little bit, but I was willing to let slide. So they get in the cabin in the woods, and there's more interesting stuff. You have basically there's the black guy. Holden, he goes into this cabin, goes into one of the rooms, and he sees this fucking fucked up painting with like these people like gutting a goat and like sacrificing it or something. And then basically he takes the picture down, because he basically says like, I don't think so. And he takes it down, and he sees a mirror, and it happens to be a two-way mirror, and he sees the girl, he sees Dana undressing herself, in the mirror. And he's a nice enough guy that he knocks on the wall, and he basically tells her, hey, there's a two-way mirror here, and I don't want to be looking at you. I know you want your privacy, so how about we switch rooms Of course, then she has the moment where she kind of sees him undressing, and then she feels guilty. So then she's like, she puts the painting back on the wall and then over the mirror, and then she's like, I don't think so. And then she like puts a blanket on top of it. And that's a good self-aware. I like that, the self-awareness with the mirror. That's a good idea. The two-way mirror was a good idea. That's different. I like that. And then you have the whole thing where then push comes to shove, and the cellar door opens up. It reminds you of Evil Dead automatically, especially Evil Dead 2. And then they go down in the cellar, and then they just start touching random shit. See, I don't know, that's when the movie start to kind of get teensy bit on my nerves at that point. Because, yes, I understand that this movie is cliched because it's supposed to be. But, I'll get into that, why I think that's bullshit, soon enough. But basically, I don't buy that people randomly out of the blue would just go into some cellar in a cabin they've never been to and just randomly touch fucking shit. I don't buy it. At least I wouldn't. I wouldn't be doing that shit. I don't know where this shit has been. I don't know where the fuck any of this shit is, man. This isn't a fucking thrift store. So, I mean, I wouldn't even think about touching any of that shit. And people try to say that, well, the puppeteers are controlling it. Well, they don't really explain how the puppeteers make these people go down into the cellar and fucking touch random shit. It's like the plot, the script, just assumes that these people, or the puppeteers just assume that the chosen people that they have chosen for this experiment or whatever, or this ritual, are just fucking dumbasses who were bored as fuck and will just go down to the cellar and touch shit. I mean, that's basically all they're assuming. I mean, it's not like me, who, like, literally, if I probably wouldn't even be on this trip, for one, but if I went, I wouldn't even fucking touch this shit. I wouldn't be doing nothing. I'd probably be sitting on my laptop looking at YouTube, editing videos, probably fucking listening to my headphones, listening to fucking Dio and being like, Holy diver, you've been gone too long in the midnight sea. Oh, what's becoming of me? Jump, 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 jump on the tiger. I would probably just be like, I wouldn't hear any of the voices. I wouldn't hear any of the fucking stupid shit. I mean, nothing would really influence me because I'd be fucking listening to my headphones and I wouldn't be paying attention in the first place because I wouldn't even be in a cabin in the fucking woods because I don't like going. I'm not a big camping guy. It's fun maybe for a little bit, but it gets old real quick because I like having my TV, I like having my movies, and I like having, a lot of entertainment at my disposal. But anyway, I mean, that's completely missing the point, I understand. It's not about what I would do. I just thought I'd bring it up. But anyway, I just thought that was kind of stupid. That they would just go down there in a cellar and just randomly touch shit like they're the fucking scientists in Prometheus. So anyway, basically, you find out in the film that whatever they touch unleashes whatever the fuck that's going to kill them. So this girl reads from a book, and then it brings back these fucking zombies from the dead. And these zombies aren't any ordinary zombies, as this movie's stupid joke tries to say, when they're basically... You already know the spoilers throughout the whole review. Basically what happens, folks, is the plot for this movie is that these puppeteers, these people in this complex, underground complex, or wherever the fuck it is, who are pulling the strings, they've set up this ritual in the cabin in the woods with these chosen teens, these chosen few. And they've set it up so basically, in order to save the world, they have to sacrifice these people to the old gods. Otherwise, the old gods will get angry and destroy the world. I'm not making that shit up. That is the fucking plot of the movie. I'm not making that up. I mean, that's the plot. And I mean, I just... That's stupid. I don't understand how is that great. How is that a great idea? Excuse me. This movie just fucking irritates my nose. Basically, just because an idea has never been done before, doesn't mean it's a good idea. And I don't think this is a good idea. I mean, really? Sacrifice to the gods? And of course, then there's some people who try to defend that idea by saying that the gods in this film represent us, the audience. Well, if the gods in this film represent me watching this movie, then I'm pretty fucking disappointed. I mean, because I didn't get what I wanted. And they're saying, well, that's why you destroyed the movie. You destroyed the world. No. Sorry, that's just pulling some out of your ass and defending your fucking point of view there. Or like backwards point of view. Stop looking at this movie and trying to paint it as something that it obviously isn't. It's not a deep film. Okay? It is not a deep movie in the least. It's not. In my opinion, anyway, I don't think it's about as deep as my ass. So, anyway, I'll get into the whole God's plot again anyway. So, basically, we'll go back and get to the zombies. So, basically, the reason why all these people are acting stupid, I guess, even though it's not explained why they went down to the fucking cellar, they basically try to make you, from lazy screenwriting, viewers assume that the gods or something, or there's some mind control thing that's making them do that kind of stuff. And basically, the stoner is the only guy who hears weird noises, hears people talking. He hears a voice saying, read the book, and he's trying to tell them, don't read the fucking book. What are you doing reading the book? I heard a voice telling me don't read the book. And I'm like, oh, shut up, you're high. Which is a plot device, which basically just is basically saying that no one's going to believe the stoner because he's high, which is cliched as fuck. And people are saying, well, that's the point. Get it? That's the point. You see, everything is cliched because it's supposed to be cliched. See, it works together. Everything is clever. And yes, I'll give it credit for that. The fact that, the puppeteers gave the girl some blonde hair dye, and she dyed her hair blonde, and then it makes her dumber. Okay, that's a decent idea. That makes her dumb blonde, okay. But I don't like the fact that the stoner guy is the only guy that's self-aware. If this movie's trying to be like Scream, and trying to be like everybody's self-aware, and other people are saying everybody is self-aware. I'm sorry, I disagree with the reviewers who say everybody is self-aware. Because it seems to me that the only fucking person that's self-aware in this movie is the stoner guy. And then maybe the redheaded chick. That's about it. Because everybody else isn't fucking self-aware. Don't give me that shit that they're self-aware about horror movie rules. Because I don't fucking see it. I just see the chick getting dumber and ditzier by the minute, making out with a fucking wolf's head, which is stupid and silly, and just, it's uncomfortable to sit through because it's so fucking stupid. And then basically, I understand the mind control thing and whatever, but I think the film would work better for me if everybody was self-aware. So, if the girl starts getting dumber, she start realizing it and start being like, what? Why am I so stupid? She realized after she made out with a wolf, be like, what the fuck did I just do? What? That make it a little bit more interesting to me. Not just all of a sudden she's just making out with a wolf and is okay with it. And then maybe as the film went on some more, then they just couldn't fight it anymore, and the personalities or the new personalities would take over. And that would make more sense to me than them just automatically randomly being these fucking cliches. Like the girl just has the blonde hair dye that makes her stupid, so now she's a ditzy's fucking blonde, and there's no self-awareness or whatever. She just all of a sudden is fucking stupid, and making out with wolf's heads and shit. Ah, get out of my eye! So this movie's fucking around with my fucking eye here. It's like Kevin the Woods is like, oh, you talk bad about me? I'll put some here's mud in your eye. Or cum in your eye. God. Anyway, sorry, I had something got in my eye. Anyway, you basically have the blonde girl, she gets stupider and stupider. And, that's basically it. She's just dumb. All of a sudden she's blonde. and now she gets really dumb and ditzy. The jock guy, I don't really see the deterioration of his character. He just all of a sudden starts acting like a douche. The other guy, the black guy who's a nice guy, nothing happens to him. He doesn't even start to lose anything of a personality. He pretty much seems the same to me, and the same for the redheaded chick. So how are these guys cliched? I don't think the black guy who is a nice guy is cliched. I think that's different. The stoner, I guess you could look at it that way. And the final girl, of course, the redheaded chick, that's cliche because she's like the strong-willed one or whatever. But the thing is, the cliches that it tries to tip across, the blonde chick, ditzy blonde, and the jock, their characters turn into these stereotypes way too fucking quickly for me. There's no build-up to it. All of a sudden, it's just, oh, I'm feeling weird, and look at my hair in the mirror, and then make out with the wolf, and then like the jock's like, come on baby, let's go fuck. It just does, doesn't compute for me. I don't know. And then basically after basically the redhead, she read from the book, which is fucking reminds me of the Evil Dead, reminds me of the Book of the Dead. Dana Polk, Dana reads from the Book of the Dead, but not Book of the Dead. She reads from it, and basically these zombies come back to life, like I said earlier. And then we're getting back to the whole puppeteer group, and they're having this pool, a bet of basically whoever bets what. Basically, they're betting on what monster will they unleash. And somebody says, basically the right choice in this stupid joke is zombies. But it's not any type of zombies. It's horror. It's basically zombie redneck zombie torture family. And that is the fucking joke. Because then one lady comes up and says, well, I voted for zombies too, but you don't get it. See, you weren't specific enough. It's, zombie. There's zombies and there's zombie redneck horror torture family. You weren't specific enough. I'm like, that's not funny. That's just stupid. Zombies are fucking zombies. I'm sorry. Zombie with a fucking gun is still a zombie. A zombie with a fucking, zombies are zombies. No matter what the fuck they're doing, or no matter if they're fucking rednecks, or no matter there's no fucking specific fucking category for fucking zombies. I don't remember ever seeing movies where people were saying, well, that's a certain type of zombie right there. No, it's a fucking zombie. It's just a zombie. Sorry. Zombies are fucking zombies. There's no specific fucking, species of fucking zombie. Of course, it's just a pessimist to me speaking, but I thought that was a stupid joke. It's not even really that funny. It's stupid. So then after that, you have the redneck torture family, redneck zombie torture family. Looks like rejects from the wrong turn. And they got this one guy, I guess the leader of the group, who looks like fucking, Tommy Wiseau from The Room on steroids. Or fucking Frankenstein. Frankenstein Tommy Wiseau. I've expected them to be like, oh, hi. It would be like, oh, hi, Marty. I did not do it. I did not eat her brains. I did not do it. I did not. Anyway, the zombie redneck family shit, zombie redneck shit, is as generic as fucking hell. Is the movie, when anything starts to happen in the cabin, it's just fucking zombies. And that's the best they could fucking do? Is redneck zombies? That's your best shot. That really is your best shot. That's the best you can give me, movie, is redneck zombies. With fucking bear claw traps or some shit. Fucking, and the blonde, she gets killed off basically, basically one of the zombies gets her with a saw, but it cuts away before you see anything. And that's the other thing about this movie. None of the kills in this film are original at all. None of them are innovative. Except for maybe a few in the end. But the kills of the teens, none of them are innovative at all. And if the metaphor that the gods in this film are the audience, then the fucking horror audience usually wants to see a film like this. We want to see imaginative kills. We don't want to see fucking bullshit, cutaway, death scenes, some guy getting fucking through the throat, a sword through the throat or some shit. We don't want to see shit that we've seen 100 fucking times. If they're assuming that that's what the audience wants, like, you know, there's one scene where the guys are basically, the puppeteers are watching, they're saying, well, the gods want this. They want to see the chick get naked or whatever. And I'm like, I don't really give a shit if somebody strips down to their fucking birthday suit in a horror film, okay? There's not one moment where I'm sitting through a movie, unless it's a total piece of shit, where I'm thinking, you know what I could use right now instead of a good story or good effects or good acting? I could use some titties. I never really think that way. I'm not that fucking depraved. So to assume that the horror audience, it thinks that way, and it is just pretentious and just aggravating. Because it's assuming that everybody in the audience is going to think the same way. And I gotta tell you, that doesn't exist. Groupthink is not something that actually, honestly, in my opinion, exists in this world unless somebody's being manipulated. And nice try to manipulate the audience, movie, because it wasn't working for me. So the girl, you know, she strips down naked. Of course, the blonde Dizzy blonde gets killed with a saw, but you don't see the death scene. It's rather fucking lackluster. Then you see the stoner guy stand up and bash a zombie in the head with his pot, with his basically his bong, and I thought it was funny. But then directly after that, he gets attacked by a zombie who stabs him in the fucking back, then drags him away. Blood sprays. You think he's dead. Remember that, folks, because that comes into play later in the movie. Then, of course, Chris Hemsworth gets stabbed by the zombie or whatever while he's trying to save his girlfriend. Of course, the zombie, you know, he ends up basically escaping. But not until basically, I guess, he goes into the house and the cabin, goes back to the cabin, and Dora is waiting there. I think, not Dora. Is it really her name? Is Dana, not Dora. Not Dora the Explorer. Dana, she's in there, waiting in the cabin, along with the sensitive black guy, Holden. And basically Chris Hemsworth comes in, he's bleeding. They're like, "Are you okay, man?" It's like, "No, she got, you know, they got her, they got jewels, you know, the son of a bitch got jewels." And then basically a zombie opens the door, he's got the severed head of Jules, and just throws it like a fucking baseball, like a game of catch to the Dana. And she's like, "Ah!" And you're like, it's a good practical effect, but it doesn't save the movie. And then basically Tommy Wiseau, you know, a fucking, you know, Tommy Frankenstein goes into the fucking cabin and attacks people. Gets basically, I guess he gets stabbed in the... I don't know if he gets shot in the head or stabbed in the brain. I don't really remember what happens to these zombies because it's so fucking generic and boring. It was boring. The movie was interesting, involving, and actually pretty innovative in the beginning. And then when they just basically raise cliched redneck zombies from the dead, it just lost me. Because I was just like, this is boring. I've seen this in a million other fucking movies. Can we move on? And then, of course, when I think the zombie scenes would be over, they'd keep coming. And be like, enough of this fucking shit. Had enough of fucking zombies. Show me something else. And then basically after, you know, Chris Hemsworth and Dana and Holden end up escaping, they basically find a way to try to escape from the cabin. They get in the motorhome and try to drive away through a tunnel that the fucking puppeteers forgot to blow up. But of course they blow it up before they have a chance to escape. So then Chris Hemsworth comes up with this idea that he's going to try to jump basically, there's like a little chasm that and try to jump to try to get help. And he makes a good speech. Basically, his speech is like, if I make this jump, man, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna grab all these guns. Basically, it's like kind of like the speech I remember from another movie. Just don't really remember too well. Trying to see if they have it on the quote on here. Well, of course not. They don't have that quote on here. They have other quotes, but not the quote, not the lines that Chris Hemsworth was saying. Basically, Chris Hemsworth was saying, like, if I make it out alive, I'm going to come back with fucking guns armed to the teeth and the National Guard, and we're going to fucking kill these motherfuckers. They're like, yeah, awesome, good quote, good speech, all right, get him, man. And then he revs up his bike, reminding you of the Blob remake, revs it up, and he's getting a good head start, and he jumps with the bike, and it's like epic, and it's like, yes, he's gonna make it, and then BAM! Right into some fucking shitty ass fucking CGI fucking force field, which is shit I'd see out of Tron Legacy. BAM! And then he rolls down, and then Dana's like, no! And then you're like, what the fuck? What? Did I just see this shit? What? Chris Hemsworth was good. I liked his character. He dies in the most fucking ridiculous way you can imagine. And it's not funny. I wasn't laughing. I was fucking pissed off. I know I wasn't the only one. It wasn't really that fucking funny. It was just fucking pathetic. Smashing into some fucking CGI yellow brick road. Anyway, that would be like if the Blob in the Blob remake, in the end, when Brian Flagg was trying to get away from the fucking scientist douchebags, that'd be like if he fucking did the jump and he jumped in midair and the Blob ate him, or he fucking crashed and burned fucking and died. You wouldn't like that then either, would you? And people tell me it's a satire of those type of scenes where the guy's like, I'm gonna make it, and then he gets fucking killed, and I'm like, it's not really satire because that's happened before in other movies. But the way that it's handled in here is fucking stupid. It's not like the Deep Blue Sea moment where Sam Jackson is talking about, you must get prepared for the shark, and then the shark eats him, and that's really honestly surprising. This is not really. This isn't surprising because of the fucking eagle scene earlier where the fucking hawk or eagle where the fuck flew into a fucking force field at the same time. Even if it was surprising, it's fucking stupid. It's moronic and it's dumb. It's dumb. It's not funny and it's not clever. It's fucking dumb. You're gonna jump a fucking bike and collide into a fucking CGI yellow brick road? What the fuck? Like a fucking piss road. Anyway, after that fucking ridiculousness, two survivors now, of course you think, are the Holden and Dana. And they get into the motorhome and try to get away. And basically, Holden gets stabbed through the throat by some zombie that basically, I don't know, teleported its ass onto the fucking motorhome. And then you basically have a scene where the girl is getting attacked by a zombie near a lake, which looks like Crystal Lake. And the whole scene reminds me of Freddy vs. Jason, although the actress who played Dana is a better actress than the actress in Freddy vs. Jason. And then basically it's Tommy Frankenstein again, and he's attacking her. And, the puppeteer guys, they have a celebration, like they're having a good time, they're drinking and celebrating like they saved the world because they think everybody's dead. Of course, parting a bit premature, aren't we? Then basically, I forgot about the thing about where America is the only ones left to finish this ritual and do it right and save the world because all the other countries failed. You saw the Japanese schoolgirls trying to, they're trying to ritual, but, with the fucking ring, with the sequences like straight out of the ring. But, oh no, they fucking prevail and they don't die because for some reason, I don't know, they fucking make the ring girl turn into a fucking frog. I'm not making that shit up. That's how that fucking scene plays out. And then the fucking Sitterston guy, he goes and basically says, well, you know, that's it. I couldn't count on the Japanese. You know, that's why everyone else failed, because you know, no one does it better than America or some shit. I'm like, what? I mean, that's insulting. For a horror buff like me, that's fucking insulting, because I'm sorry, it's not even a good joke. It's kind of racist in a way. It's like one of those like, America, fuck yeah! And I'm like, no, America doesn't do it best. You know, in all honesty, that's disrespectful to the Italians. Come on now. Dario Argento, fucking Mario Bava. Mario Bava with the fucking Twitch of the Deaf Nerve is like, could be considered one of the first ever slasher films. And that was an Italian horror film. Italy does a great job with their horror movies too. Or fucking Lucio Fulci. I mean, they do a good job. I mean, don't give me this shit that only America can do horror films. It's bullshit. So anyway, that going on, you know, kind of little off kilter there. Went backwards with the review, but I don't like that. It's like, it's insulting to the fucking, you know, other countries. And I guess that's the point, but it doesn't change the fact that it's fucking bullshit. So then, like, another one of those, America is better than everybody else. Anyway, and I'm American, and I disagree with that. I don't approve of that message. Then after that, after Holden dies, Dana manages to find I don't know how the fuck she gets out the motorhome and into the complex. I don't remember. She basically runs into the stoner guy, who I guess is still alive, and run around like he's a spry fucking 12-year-old or some shit, even after he got stabbed in the fucking back. And so you're supposed to believe from that little scene that looked like he died, that he killed the zombie and dismembered his ass in 5 seconds. After he was getting drugged away. And I'm supposed to believe that he found a way to escape from getting drugged away from this fucking zombie, which is bigger than him and stronger than him. And then he fucking escaped from him, and not only got out of the zombie's clutches in 5 seconds, but he also dismembered him in 5 seconds. I call bullshit on that. The guy is dead. The stoner guy should be dead. If he wasn't dead right away, he'd be dying because he has a fucking knife in his back. Or whatever the fuck it was. Garden trowel, don't matter. It's a fucking stabbed. He gets stabbed in the fucking back. Probably he would not be as full of energy as he was at the end of this movie. And I like the character of the stoner guy, but the way that they explain that he survived is bullshit. Just like the way they explain why everybody splits up because some fucking magic gas comes into the cabin and then makes people say, like, I think we should split up. That'd be a good idea. We'd cover more ground that way. That's lazy screenwriting. I'm not surprised from a guy who helped write the fucking stories for Lost. It's lazy screenwriting. Because, what, you're going to tell me that the gods gave him that gas? The gods made that gas to make them, change people's thoughts? I don't think there's a gas that exists that can fucking change people's thoughts and make them fucking say shit. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think so. So that's just one of the many ridiculous things about this movie. So about an hour into the film, or longer than that, all you got to go for all you have to really all you really have for this film that you can honestly, I guess, the action or the horror or whatever, the thrills are fucking redneck zombies, which is just generic shit. Feel like I'm watching Wrong Turn 5. Then after Wrong Turn 5 ends, then we get the Monster Mash at the end, which is just as underwhelming as the fucking zombies. Because right off the bat, you get fake-ass CGI giant cobra, which looks like shit I'd see out of a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. You have a fucking battle bot or something cutting people up. I don't know what the fuck that thing is. It looks like I don't know what. It's some random robot The scene is just so fucking random. It's skull fuckingly random. The Monster Mash. It's not like Waxwork, where the Monster Mash is actually has some kind of fucking... makes a little bit of sense because all the monsters in the Monster Mash were part of the Waxwork exhibit. Here just have a bunch of random fucking monsters and shit coming out of nowhere. I guess they were captured. You don't know how the fuck these monsters were captured. I guess the gods just provided them for these fucking scientists, I guess. But you have stupid shit. You have randomness. CGI fucking snakes that look like shit. Combined with actually some pretty decent practical effects, like werewolves. But then you have fucking some killer clown guy, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Then you have some rejects from the Strangers with their stupid, silly fucking porcelain masks. Then you have fucking giant octopuses. You have fucking man-bats. You have fucking more zombies. And then you have, like, shit like fucking unicorns. I'm not making that up. Watch the movie. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Fucking unicorns. Stabbing people with the fucking horns. I'm not fucking making that shit up. A fucking unicorn shows out of nowhere. Comes up out of nowhere in this fucking random ass fucking scene. And fucking kills some dude. Yeah. Somebody. Yeah, there's a unicorn killing somebody in this movie. Yeah. Fucking unicorns. It just doesn't add up. It's trying to be fun. People probably thought that was funny. I didn't think it was funny. You probably thought it was funny because you were fucking high. It's fucking stupid. You know, would you think it would be funny if fucking Care Bears showed up out of nowhere and made people's heads explode with the power of love? I mean, it's that fucking stupid. Unicorns killing people is just as fucking stupid as Care Bears killing people. And it's not needed. And it's fucking dumb. It's not funny. It's silly, stupid shit. So then after this Monster Mash, of course, before the Monster Mash, you get introduced to fucking Lord Fornicus, who is basically fucking this movie's version of a low-rent Pinhead, who looks like shit. Looks like fucking Job from The Lawnmower Man 2. You know, got a few fucking saw blades lodged in his head, and somehow he manages to survive. That's what it looks like. Looks like shit. The Cenobites that everybody bitches about in Hellraiser 3 look a hell of a lot better and more intimidating than fucking Sawblade Head over here. And then basically after that, I guess you see the ballerina chick who has like a bunch of teeth on her face, who looks like a fucking rejected design by Dick Smith for the movie Ghost Story. And then basically you have a werewolf, which is a good practical effect, but the whole fucking scene with the Monster Mash is too fucking random. I mean, it's like it's trying to be a satire or a homage to horror icons. It fucking fails because the only satire horror icons is maybe the Pinhead ripoff. So anyway, after that, basically, the two survivors, a stoner guy and Dana, they end up finding out the big secret from the director, who turns out to be Sigourney Weaver's disembodied voice. Oh, great. So Sigourney Weaver's the director of it, I guess. She's supposed to be the director of the movie. Some shit. She basically shows up and she's all like saying, like, you must, you know, sacrifice yourself for the world or some shit. And you find out that, of course, the reason why this whole ritual exists, to appease the gods. And a werewolf shows up out of nowhere after basically Dana gets in a shitty fight with Sigourney Weaver and throws her ass into the fucking pit. And then you have a werewolf that shows out of nowhere and attacks Dana, and it looks like she's fucked up pretty badly, but she somehow is pretty okay even though she's slathered in fucking blood. Stoner guy and her have a smoke and say something about, well, let's give somebody else a chance. Basically, let's, you know, fuck... Oh, I just wish I was there to see the world ending. And I'm like, what? I was there to see it. You want to see the world end? Great. You morbid fucks. And basically, they say their lines, their pretentious bullshit line about let's give somebody else a chance. The fucking end of the movie is a fucking giant stone hand comes out of the fucking ground and slams on the fucking cabin. and end the movie, and it's the gods have awakened, and they're gonna destroy the world. Wow. So instead of having an ending where everybody fucking dies, like in a found footage film, it really means literally everybody in the fucking world dies this time around. Of course, people are like, that's clever, that's interesting. No, it's never been done before. Bullshit. Ever heard of Beneath the Planet of the Apes? Yeah, that movie ended that way too, with fucking Charlton Heston telling the fucking mutants to fuck off and blowing up the fucking world. That was a shitty way to end that movie, and it's a shitty way to end this movie as well. But it's perfect. A bad ending for a bad movie. Anyway, this movie, it's got some good things going for it. It's got some good practical effects, minus saw blade head, but it's much ado about nothing. It's so fucking cliche. It's boring at times. And what I'm talking about cliche is that the movie that's supposed to be the groundbreaker, the genre bender, is basically a movie that just comes up with excuses for why it's so fucking cliche. And I'm sorry, I don't, and that's original, that's different, but at the same time it pisses me off because that's the best you could fucking do, is come up with excuses for why everybody, God, for why everybody fucking is acting the way that they are. Because of magic gas or fucking mind control or whatever, it still doesn't change the fact that this movie is fucking cliche. So if you're going, you can give this movie a new paint job, you can pimp it up all you want to, you can fucking redecorate the whole fucking film. But when you get down to it, even when it's being clever, it's just coming up with excuses for why the film is cliche. So basically, folks, everybody who was goo gaga over this movie and loved it to death is basically accepting the fact that the movie is cliched as all the other fucking horror films that we've been sick and tired of for the past fucking 5 years or so. But they're okay with it because it comes up with a clever way to explain why it's fucking cliche. I call bullshit on that because it still doesn't change the fact that it's still fucking cliche. Explaining that the girl's ditzy because of some fucking hair dye, it just doesn't change the fact that she's still a dumb fucking blonde now. Same shit, different movie. You basically have, with the redneck zombies, cliched as fuck. The fucking Monster Mash, random fucking shit. The merman, what? It was a decent effect, I guess, but he looked like shit because he was supposed to, I guess, because the other guy was obsessing about the merman. And when we finally got to see the merman, it wasn't nearly what he thought it was going to be. That's the joke. This movie just failed to deliver for me. It failed to lift my dick up. It failed to excite me. It failed to entertain me. It started out good and then it fucking turned into a fucking train wreck by the end of the movie. So, I just expected more of this film. I expected more of this groundbreaker. I expected more of this genre bender than what I got. What I got was fucking pathetic. A movie that was cliched as all the other fucking movies that I've been fucking tired of seeing, except it just had a fucking new paint job. I don't see how that's acceptable. I don't see why everyone's fucking praising the fucking holy hell out of this movie, when the fact is, no matter how clever it is, no matter how clever the screenplay is about explaining why everybody is acting the way they are, it still doesn't change the fact that the way that they're acting is still cliched, and the way that the film is still a fucking cliche. The same shit we've seen in a million other horror films, and that's not what we want. I thought as horror fans we wanted to see something different, and this is just the same fucking shit. That's the problem I have with this. So that's the main reason I have a problem with it. But really, I really don't really know what else to say about Cabin in the Woods, or like a dick in the woods, my dick in the woods. Except, I think the only people, in my opinion, The only people who really praise this and really love the fucking holy hell out of it have not seen movies like Waxwork or Waxwork 2 Lost in Time, or haven't seen The Monster Squad or Night of the Creeps or Night of the Comet. They haven't seen those movies. You know, so they don't have anything to compare to this film other than Scream. So anyway, I really don't want to say I think this is a perfect film for mainstream horror fans who have watched a bunch of the mainstream horror films like Scream and watched a few of the horror icon films but haven't watched films like Waxwork, obscure movies like Waxwork 2, Lost in Time, or Night of the Creeps. And if there are people who are horror fans and horror buffs that enjoy it, that's fine. I don't have a problem with anybody enjoying the movie. That's awesome. I wanted to enjoy the movie, but I didn't. It didn't float my boat. It didn't impress me. It just, as the film went on, it just started to get more and more lackluster, more and more lame, and it started to honestly piss me off. And then when you got to the unicorn killing people, then I was like, oh, fuck this. The movie just jumped a fucking shark. So anyway, I really don't know what to say about Cabin in the Woods, except I wouldn't recommend it because, you know, I didn't like it. But, it, you know, if other people out there enjoy it, that's fine. I didn't care for it. And I don't want to hear this bullshit about how I didn't get it. Alright? I got it. The point was, it was trying to be a satire. It was trying to be tongue-in-cheek. It was trying to be funny. Well, if it was trying to be a horror film, it failed because it wasn't scary. If it was trying to be funny, a comedy, it failed because it wasn't funny. So, in both aspects, it fails, in my opinion. If it's trying to be a horror comedy, it fails in both. So, it gets a big fat F, for, as in fuck you, for those two categories. It just isn't that great. It's mediocre. Everybody's just accepting mediocrity just because they fucking found a new way to fucking come up with an excuse for cliches. It basically came up with a new way to explain why the cliches are the way that they are, and then everybody was just fine with it. But I'm not fine with it. I find it fucking an excuse just to make a shitty fucking horror movie that is just the same fucking thing that we've seen a million fucking times before, and just try to make it, you know, seem clever and witty just because it's fucking, they explain why everybody's acting the same way, or why everything's still the fucking same. I think you could have done a much better movie if you started off the film as if you had basically what happens is start off with the cabin in the woods. Start off with them going to the cabin, fuck the puppeteers. We don't know about them until later. Start up with the teens going to the cabin. And then something happens and, you know, they do the same thing. They invoke something, but they invoke something more than just zombies. And, you know, everybody's self-aware and everybody's making jokes and stuff. Everybody's horror buffs. They're friends. And they end up getting attacked. Some people get dispatched. But in the process of getting dispatched, somebody ends up burning the cabin down. But since the cabin gets burned down, now the fucking puppeteers behind the scenes don't have a cabin to use. So they basically knock out the two remaining survivors. And then the rest of the movie is them waking up in the complex and basically having to fight off all these fucking monsters. So basically the whole movie would be like the fucking Monster Mash. Monsters after monsters and two people trying to survive and beat the odds. That would be a better movie, in my opinion. Excuse me. It really would be a better movie, in my opinion, than the shit that we got. Than the generic bullshit. The Monster Mash takes too long to develop because you got to sit through boring ass scenes of zombie attacks to get there. And then if the movie just was nothing but Monster Mash throughout the whole movie, and then it keeps surprising you with what monster is going to show up next, you know, then it would be fucking awesome. Like the Raid, be like the fucking Raid, but with like monsters. But no! This shit. Anyway, I really don't know what to say, folks, except the movie disappointed me, disappointed my dick, and disappointed me too. And I really don't know what to say except if I'm going to rate Cabin in the Woods out of 5 stars, I'll give it 1. That's being generous. I'll give it 1 for I like the stoner guy. The practical effects were good. The plot drew me in at first. But it's basically the same way I feel about fucking Prometheus. It starts off good and then it fucking just really fucking sucks. It starts off good and then it fucking, you know, like I said, it fucking turns into a fucking train crash. So anyway, I really don't know what to say, and I'm repeating myself, but I gotta end this long ass review, this long ass rant. And anyway, 1 star. I've seen better than Cabin in the Woods. And this is the best that horror can offer right now. And this is the genre breaker. Then we might as well just pull the fucking plug on the horror genre, because it's the same fucking cliches, but just with just different writing. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later. See ya.